Yeah, hi, good day. Welcome to the channel again. So, today we'll be looking at web queries. So, that's another feature in Excel that we can utilize to retrieve data from web pages. So, normally people tend to use those to get especially financial data. So you want to update, like get an update of the daily market quotes, like from JC or stuff like that. So that's Jamaica Stock Exchange, Yahoo Finance, and stuff like that. So it is utilized to retrieve data that is updated periodically. So instead of you going in, retrieving the data from the website for yourself, and then come and populating your Excel sheet, Excel has this feature, again, web query, that will do that for you once you set it up. All right, so we're going to look at retrieving the data from the Jamaica stock market. So that's getting the market code data. So I'll bring that up in a little bit. So let me bring this screen over here to you guys. All right, and yes, I was watching the Lakers Clippers game, and go LA Lakers, that is. All right, so let me try and find the Jamaica Stock Exchange site. So it's JC. Let's just retrieve that. And this is the site, and we're looking for market data. And now and if it's the daily market, here it is, daily market quotes. All right, so this would have been data from Friday, July the 31st. So we'll get the updated data from that. And we'd want data from the combined market. So we just want one table that will give us data from the combined market. So let's run this and see how the data looks or is presented on the stock exchange. So as I said, they have basically the index here showing the movement each of the index or indices, if we want to call it that, and a list of ordinary shares and the corresponding currency that they are traded in. And this is both the main market and the junior market. So we have all of those and then the same preference shares that we're seeing here. So this is the data that we would want to pull. So instead of me rerunning this query, what I could do, you could pass parameters in, but let me just do a quick thing for the demo now. So I'll just copy the URL for the data here and just keep it. So I'll copy that data, and now I'm going to go to Excel. All right, so in order to use the web query feature, you have to first go to data. All right, let me just set the cursor here first and go to data. And where do we want this information from? We want it from the web. All right, so you can have other sources. So it can be from a notepad file, a text file, and all of that. But for our purposes now, we're just focusing on getting data from the web. So let's go. So that's from web. All right, so this is just Excel little mini browser that it has. And it's complaining about some scripts that are running on the page, but those are fine. So you can say, do you want? Yes, no biggie. And as you see, this is MSN site that we're looking at now. And this is where you would enter the URL for the site that you want your data from. So all I did was to just clear the address bar and just paste the data that I have or the URL that I have for the stock exchange site. All right, and I go And now, again, this is just something with the browser for Excel, so I can just say yes and leave that. And now it's showing me the data here for the stock exchange, right? And if you look down, similar to what we saw when we launched it in a regular browser, we're seeing the ordinary shares, the indices, and stuff like that. So this is actually what we want to export or import, I should say, to Excel. All right, so if you notice, you have this little icon here, and it's a click next to tables. You want to select, then import. All right, so normally it depends on how the site that you're visiting, how they structure the code or how they develop the website. Then you would have all the tables being identified and this icon being present here. Currently, for this site that we're visiting now, it only has a single, basically saying that the entire page is a table. So that is fine. So we'll just work with that for now because it would still import the data that we want, which is the data in this ordinary shares table from the sheet. So let's select that one. And you notice the arrow changed to a checkbox. All right, so the thing about the web query though, so I have to warn you about this. So it is really dependent on your internet connection that will determine how fast the data is imported. So bear that in mind. And I'm really trying to keep these videos under 10 minutes. So let's see how long it will take. I guess if it's taking too long, then I'll probably just edit that out, which again is not something that I want to do. I really want to just have straight live takes for the videos that I'm doing now. So just as we'll be going through it in class and everything. So let me just go through and select the import. And you should see it asks us whether or not we want to import the data in a new sheet. And also we could have changed some properties here that we want. So whether we want to save the query definition, enable background refresh. So this is that the data will be there live and we pulling in the data in the background. All right, this part is important, but we won't do it now. So to refresh you could set it to refresh every day, so we'll select a time for that, how often you want this data to be refreshed, right? So that's one, and then there are some other formatting that you can go through and you ask it to save those formatting. But we'll just leave the default for now and continue. So let's go. So you can cancel these or okay, because that's a default. And then now we'll just select this area in the worksheet here where we want to import the data to. So I'll select OK here. And it will take some time because so there are two things that impacts the amount of time that it takes to import the data. So one is your internet connection, and two, the speed of your internet connection, and two, the size of the data that's being imported. So you have to bear that in mind, and that now determines how long the query will take to run. As you can see down here, it is telling me that it is executing the query, and I can cancel it. So I'll let that run for a little bit. The data is now imported in Excel, so we can browse through and see exactly what was imported. Remember, we saw this indices table that was there at the top of the Excel file, on top of the website. And then now we have our ordinary shares. So this is really the data that we want to be imported in our sheet. And below that, you will have your preference shares. So we're seeing all the data here. So what you could do now is clean up the data. So that is remove the ones that you don't need and set this up properly as your codes. All right, so we'll do that in another video. And then also, let me just show you one more thing that you can do, which is important for the web query, is that we can pretty much change or alter the property now. So we go to the properties here. So all I did was to select on the sheet where we have basically the data, and then go to properties, and then you could say refresh, and you stipulate a time that this would be refreshed. So if it is a case that you want to be monitoring trades for the day or something like that, you could say, hey, refresh it every hour, whatever it is, but you could put that time there. So right now it's 60 minutes. And you could also say, well, the data should be always refreshed whenever you open the Excel file. So which means once you close this file and it's reopened, I should say, the data would pull from the stock exchange and now be loaded into your new file. All right, so that's pretty much it for the web query. And as I say, we can go through and edit the table, edit the data, which I will do in another video, a follow-up video to this one, where we'll now set up some calculations that we'll be using the daily stock quotes for, or updated stock quotes. All right, so again, guys, thanks for stopping by, for watching the videos. See you again. Hopefully, you'll be clicking next to see the videos that are loaded. All right, so thanks again for watching. Out. All right, thank you all.